ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest gaming news with your host, V-Gaming Junkie. The dross offended someone out there that has 500 bot accounts and was swiftly cancelled, so there's nothing but pure gaming-related meatiness. It is all about that electronic good stuff as we dive deep into all that's new in the various interactive virtual worlds. Starting us out with, Activision Blizzard seems to be on the warpath, targeting at least 2 major private WoW servers. They're completely free, and it's not just some backdoor venue to play World of Warcraft without paying. Basically, it's all based around classic World of Warcraft with new stories made by the community. One of them dates back to 2020 and another one back to 2018, so it's not like Blizzard suddenly got blindsided by these. They've been out for quite a while, but it's only now that they have begun to take action. This news story is actually a bit personal because I'm friends with someone who's in one of them. She actually uses it because there's someone she knows on the retail servers who won't seem to ever leave her alone, and Blizzard's mods have been, let's say, less than helpful. They're taking down social medias like Facebook and going after Discords, and naturally they want to shut down their websites and then eventually the servers themselves. From what I understand, it's all being done in Activision's name, and while it is interesting that it's happening in the middle of Microsoft's acquisition of them, there's no evidence of them being involved. This just goes to show that Activision Blizzard is more interested in stomping down their own fans than they are in repairing their own reputation. With just Blizzard alone, you've got things like the infamous Diablo Immortal review, Warcraft 3 Reforged bombing horrifically, and lawsuits concerning conduct with female staff. All I'm saying is you'd think they'd be more concerned about that. Some fan servers around old World of Warcraft isn't what's poisoning their brand here. And to your left, you see Sony doing something customer unfriendly. I know, that's so surprising because Sony would never do something like that. This clearly super rare occurrence revolves around the Firefly edition of The Last of Us Part 1. It seems people are receiving copies that were damaged during the shipping process, including to the comics. You might be thinking the crux of this story is the inconvenience of shipping it out to get it replaced. You better prepare yourself for disappointment because at least as of the time of this article, they won't be offering replacements or repairs for damage that their packaging caused. Apparently one person was offered 20% off another game on their store and that was it. I want to say this surprises me, but Sony's had a pretty extensive track record of just not caring. Whether it's censoring games, especially anime-styled games, or railing against things like crossover play, they haven't developed a reputation of being customer-friendly. Time will only tell if Sony is shamed enough to throw those affected a bone or not. Either way though, I really don't see Sony moving away from their questionable decision-making anytime soon. On the subject of game-related companies being customer-unfriendly, Gamestop is finding themselves right in the middle of a lawsuit. That's right, the Gamestop. You may remember them for their price gouging when it comes to selling games to them, as well as deliberately slicing game discs so they can't be acquired out of their garbage in a working state. This lawsuit concerns them allegedly sharing chat logs on the site with a third party. Like most sites, it has a customer support chat for asking questions on. According to this lawsuit as reported on by GameSpot, they're accused of selling this data to Zendesk. Obviously, they didn't tell people that they would be sharing this information either, hence the illegal part. Zendesk apparently even boasted about it, interestingly enough. If the accusation is true, this would specifically be violating a privacy act in California, so there's a class action lawsuit for Californian residents who have had their info shared on the site without permission. As if GameStop needed another thing to add to its very colorful reputation. While it's a shame to see a devoted gaming store fall so hard from grace between how it treats its customers and especially how it treats its employees, maybe it's time for it to fade from memory. At the very least, it could probably use a very serious overhaul in its management. Actually giving people a good deal on their traded-in games, if nothing else, would at least make their reputation slightly less abysmal. To follow up on this egregious anti-customer story, here's a story of Nintendo becoming slightly less anti-customer than before. Hey, at this point, I will take any step in the right direction rather than barreling over a cliff. Now, thankfully, Nintendo's main games don't generally have blatantly bad things like loot boxes in them, but their phone game Mario Kart Tour has had a gacha system in it. Now, granted, this isn't the worst thing in the world because it's a free-to-play phone game and technically you could get the rubies in-game, but still. Thankfully, it is in fact being removed. No more luck-based systems to unlock things with. Instead, you'll just be directly exchanging rubies for whatever you want in a store. Big ups Nintendo for moving away from such a very controversial loot box system. Like I said, it's a free-to-play phone game, so it could be much worse. After all, there are certain games like many sports titles under EA's banner that have such luck-based systems despite costing $60 or more. EA Sports, give us your money. Still, it's nice to see Nintendo at least cares about that more than most would. Granted, Nintendo does have their own problems, like being way too harsh on fan-made games and being lazy with re-releases of their old titles, but at least they aren't looking to bleed you dry like that. Maybe one day we'll actually see the game industry as a whole move in the direction towards the customer. For anyone who shares my dream, I have a hot tip for you. If you quit buying games with egregious practices in them, they'll actually listen to you. If you're still buying the games, then your complaints are worthless because when you get down to it, they care about their wallet, not about what you think of them. In other news, if you're a fan of the Twitch streamers Ninja or Pokimane, you may be interested to know that both of them are scaling back on streaming. To be more specific, Ninja's taking an indeterminate amount of time for a break, while Pokimane appears to want to get out of it altogether, calling it no longer creatively fulfilling. Honestly though, I encourage more people to jump ship from Twitch. While all video hosts have their own problems in one form or another, I've always said that I feel Twitch is on the next level when it comes to things wrong with it. It seems like with Twitch, you have to step on eggshells and it's harder to get noticed there unless you sell yourself on one very specific demographic. It's one that Pokimane has actually been profiting off of, but I'll leave you to determine what I'm referring to. I don't wish anything ill on her, of course, nor Ninja, obviously. I hope that both of them find very fulfilling places to go from here, whether it's entertaining an audience or some other field entirely. I may be envious that I'll never be that popular, but you should never let envy turn to hate. If anything, you should let that envy motivate you to try to step it up yourself. May good fortune smile upon all of you. So if you've ever wanted to play Pokemon Legends Arceus but don't have a Nintendo Switch, there might just be a viable alternative for you. It seems there's a Cleaver MC server that recreates the entire game in Minecraft. It utilizes two mods, Forge and Pixel Mod, and has a variety of things like an interactive story. According to Games Radar, it started out as an effort to mod an existing map to look like Hisui. It all snowballed from there, adding features and a points system for catching Pokemon. Apparently, you can even fight Alpha Pokemon for a challenge, and you can redeem for yourself a version of that Pokemon if you manage to beat it. You know, much like the Alpha Pokemon found in the real game. It really is amazing what you can make with Minecraft. It's become so much of a modder's paradise for different genres that it honestly puts id Tech 1 to shame. Maybe I should do a live stream of it, if anyone's actually interested in such a thing, of course. I tried to play the real deal at some point, but let's just say my methods for playing it weren't the most stable. This would make a fabulous alternative, though. In the meantime, check it out for yourself if you have Minecraft and want to check out the Legends Arceus experience. In other news, Google's ChromeOS will allow people to simulate touchscreen prompts for Android games with keyboard tabs. While having Android games playable is nothing new, whether through BlueStacks or ChromeOS itself, this does add a new control option straight into the mix. The list of games with support for it isn't too broad, but it'll probably grow over time. It's not like people are playing home systems for the Android games anyway, hence why products like the Ouya were kind of a failure, so there's no rush. If it's something you already have though, whether it's a PC or an actual Chromebook, it could be a really handy bonus for that. In the meantime though, there's still the aforementioned BlueStacks if you really want to play various kinds of Android games on your PC, and not only is it a free download, but it's 100% legal. And finally, a modder injects a little nostalgia into the new Final Fantasy VII Remake. Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barret, Yuffie, and Sonnen will be getting a more classic look to them in this mod. You might just be thinking I mean they've been tweaked to look more like how they do originally, but this is more literal than that. The models are literally the blocky polygonal models from the PS1 original. This video showcasing it actually has a hilarious moment where Cloud's recognized by his eyes, but it shows his PS1 model's blank stare. One thing I'd like to see is a mod that makes it turn-based or even has the fixated camera angles of the original. I just think it would look pretty neat to have. As it is, it's still very amusing to see the PS1 models next to other more higher detailed ones. Really though, the remake has all sorts of mods for it, a benefit of it going onto PC. There's one that has the gang doing Fortnite emotes and another one that is amusingly based off of Sailor Moon. I'm definitely going to get that one if I ever play it. In that one, Aerith's Sailor Moon, Cloud's Tuxedo Mask, and Tifa's Sailor Mars, which just fits the love triangle perfectly. There are even some naughtier mods, say for instance you want to get Tifa's proportions to more OG level. I won't judge if you choose to get that, wink wink. Seriously though, I can't wait to see what the modding community comes up with next. And as always, straight out of the oven of Games Radar, it's time for the latest batch of release dates. The 13th has quite a lot, so buckle in, buckaroos. It starts out with Fallout 76 Expeditions The Pit expansion for PC, PS4, and Xbox One, in addition to Little Orpheus for the 6 major platforms, and Lovecraft's Untold Stories 2 for PC. This is followed up by SCP Secret Files and Sunday Gold for PC, as well as Voice of Cards The Beasts of Burden for PC, PS4, and Switch. The day rounds out with WW1 Isonzo for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, as well as 13 Remake for Switch. The 14th has You Suck at Parking for PC and Xbox One, as well as Cube 10th Anniversary for PC and Series X. The 15th has Blind Fate Ido no Yami for the Old Band of 4, Despot's Game Dystopian Army Builder for the 5 major game consoles, and Fractured Online for PC. The 15th rounds out with Metal Hellsinger for PC, PS5, and Series X, Ultimex for PC's VR, and Wayward Strand for the 6 major platforms. Finally, the 16th just has Hidden Through Time, the Definitive Edition for PS4 and Switch. This week's epic freebie until next Thursday is yet another 2-for-1 special. The first is 100 Days, Winemaking Simulator, a game all about cultivating a wine business and not the complaining variety. The other one is the Realm Royal Reforged Epic Launch Bundle, basically a couple of skins and a mount. And that concludes the news broadcast as always. I hope you found it entertaining and informative. If you good people want more content, I Let's Play every single day at high noon, live stream Mondays and Thursdays unless otherwise specified at 4:30 p.m., and I do news videos like this one every Friday at 6 p.m. All in Eastern Standard Time, of course. If you're a real junkie for all things gaming like I am, then feel free to hit that subscribe and bell icon to get your next fix. A like and a comment are always appreciated for that engagement, but I just hope you genuinely enjoyed yourself, and that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Spread this video around like Sony's contempt for their own customers, and I will see you next time. Capitalize on life, peace out, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.